What's up? What's up?
What it do, Bean Crew? It's your boy Savon Thomas, back with another episode of Coffee and Comments. And this is part 2 of our recap and react series. Obviously, we're reacting to season 2 of Game of Thrones. I was about to say Lord of the Rings. Of Game of Thrones. And again, I'm enjoying this. Season 2 is really good. It continues where season 1 left off and really is telling the story of the battle for King's Landing. It's also kind of talking about Jon Snow's, I guess, arc, if you will. Some things happen in Winterfell we'll get to as well. But season 2 is really good so far. And I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying... The battle was the best part of the season. Like, that was really cool to see. Good action in that. I want to start off and just say Joffrey pisses me off. I tweeted this earlier. Not earlier, but I tweeted this week. But I've never hated a 13-year-old boy as much as I hate Joffrey Baratheon. Really Lannister, but Baratheon. And I'm just like, bro, he's just so annoying. Like, so is Cersei, the queen, but I don't know, he just irks me. I'm like, bro, shut up. Maybe because he represents entitled people, entitled kids, and just like, it annoys me. So what happens in season 2, there's really a couple different pieces that kind of play out. I really didn't talk about Daenerys Targaryen last season. That's my bad. She did have a big impact within the season, but season 2 kind of really features her more. So season 1 ended with Khal Drogo dying and her taking her dragon eggs into the fire, and that they burned Khal Drogo with, and from that her dragons were born. And so the first episode really shows her trying to get from where they're at, because she is the Khaleesi, which means queen in that language, and she has some people left over that still ride with her, but most people went off with the rest of what they call the Khalasar, which is the rest of the Dothraki. And so she's kind of trying to pick up the pieces and lead these people, because her ultimate goal is to go take, obviously, the Iron Throne, which is across the sea. So they have to figure out how to get a ship. They also have to figure out how to stay alive because they're stuck somewhere in the desert. And so her story goes into what's a area called Qarth. And this was pretty cool because I'm like, when they show this dude, I'm like, bro, this is the first black guy that I've seen in this show. It wasn't, though. The pirate guy was the first black guy, but this guy had a bigger role. And so, her story kind of plays out, in Qarth, and things going on in Qarth. It's not what it seems to be in Qarth. And so that's going on. On the back end, you have the different Baratheon brothers trying to earn their keep, basically, like take over King's Landing and become the new king of King's Landing and kill Joffrey. And so that's kind of the most of season 2 is showing Renly, is showing Stannis Baratheon, and then their kind of conversations and battles and what they want to do there. You still have Robb Stark, but I feel like he kind of takes a back burner in this season. He does eventually end up getting married to a foreign girl, foreign lady, which I guess they'll unpack more about her as the stories goes on. They've talked about her, but I feel like there's something there that hasn't been talked about yet. But he does end up marrying this girl that he shouldn't have, because he's been promised to the dude to let him cross the freaking bridge. So we'll see how that plays out in later seasons. But yeah, Robb Stark really took kind of a backseat, I feel like, in this. And the main focus was the Baratheon brothers and their quest to be king. Obviously Daenerys and her quest to be queen, basically, and take over the Iron Throne, but really her thing she's doing in Qarth. You have Theon Greyjoy, which I feel so bad for Theon, because dude had a good life. Like he always felt like he was, I don't know, he kind of had middle child syndrome, I guess, but he always felt like an outsider, I guess. Like, he's not a Stark. He never felt like a Stark, but they treated him well. Like, Ned Stark always treated him well. Robb Stark, treated him like a brother, basically. And dude went home, and his dad's like, nah, fam, we're not gonna go help the Starks. we're gonna go attack Winterfell and take over Winterfell, or really the North. But and then it's just what, first of all this incest is kind of weird. Like, he was touching with his sister. He knows his sister, so it's fine. But I'm like, geez, man, it's just weird, a little weird. Jamie and Cersei, and now this situation. I'll talk about Jon Snow, but the dad with all his daughters, and his daughters have a daughter, and that's one of his wives too. That's so. There's some sick parts of the show, but I guess medieval times they were doing weird stuff back then. I mean, I'm sure. So, what was I gonna say? But yeah, so just to talk with Theon Greyjoy, his story arc basically is he basically betrays Robb Stark. Robb sends him to go talk to his dad to take his 30 ships and join them in the fight to take over King's Landing. The Greyjoy father is like, nah, we are Ironborn. We're gonna go take over the North since they're gone, right? And then Theon's kind of stuck in a catch-22. He's like, do I help my basic best friend, or do I go with my father? He felt the need to live up to his name and follow his father, even though his father straight up disrespected the piss out of him. And so, you see him take over Winterfell. He leads a 20 people and take over Winterfell. And then Bran and Rickon have to, kind of escape, basically. And so, yeah, so the toughest part of this season was when Theon freaking killed the kids. Right? At least I think they're killed. I don't know. It may not be those little kids that he burned, but that was tough to see. I was like, dang, if that is them, that sucks. Like, Bran was learning some stuff. I felt like it was pretty cool, but it is what it is. We'll see what season 3 holds. And then lastly, you have Jon Snow, who is, basically marching north to figure out what's going on north of the Wall. They run into, obviously, like I said before, what's his name, or I forget his name, Coster, or whatever the dude's name, but he's with all his daughters. His daughter, he has a daughter. That daughter, he marries his daughters, basically. That daughter has daughters. He marries those daughters. They become his wives, and then he gives away the baby boys to the White Walkers. And so that was kind of sick to see. But then also, it's my thing. I heard so much about Jon Snow prior to me actually watching this show. And so it's interesting to me to see his character arc, because I'm like, dude hasn't done much. Like, season 1, season 2, he hasn't really done much. Like, as far as like battles or anything like that, he's fought a couple people, but like he hasn't really done anything. You know what I mean? Like, so season 1, he went to the Wall, and he became a man of a nice watch. Season 2, he started marching north, and then was supposed to kill his girl, Ygritte, and doesn't kill her. I'm pretty sure they're gonna probably get together some part of season 3. Who knows? But I can kind of see it already happening. But he finds this girl that's a wildling, and he doesn't kill her. And then he gets captured, and it's just like, what in the world? The White Walkers are cool to see too, though. Like that army of White Walkers. That was cool to see. But yeah, Jon Snow's arc is, it's kind of like, bro, how do you play into the story? Like, what is your benefit? Again, he may do something cool. I don't know, but season 1, season 2, dude's been pretty mid. He's not pushing P. But anyways, so those are really, that's kind of a recap to it. Obviously Daenerys, kind of back up to Daenerys. She figures out, some people in Karth steal her dragons. He finds her dragons, and then she has her dragons. Right? I don't know. I can't explain that, but the black dude ended up being bad and tried to take Daenerys' dragons, and she kills him, basically. And that's Karth. And then now she's gonna go find a ship and sail across the seas and take over Westeros. So we'll see what happens there. But that's a recap. My reaction to the season, I already said it in the beginning, but it was good. Like, I'm enjoying it. I love the different storylines. The Baratheon storyline kind of really didn't, end with much. Like, they killed Renly. Stannis loses the Battle of King's Landing, so now he's kind of a mute point. I feel like they should, season 3, hopefully they focus more on Robb Stark and his army and them pursuing forward. And what's going to happen, I don't know. Tyrion is a real one. Joffrey's a little girl. I almost said something there. Joffrey's a little girl. But Tyrion's a real one. Dude was on the battlefield, and he's like, he had a plan with the what's it called, wildfire. He rallied the troops to fight. Tywin came in at the end and did everything, but this man Tyrion has been a real one this entire show. And so he's one of my favorite characters as well. Ned Stark died, so I would say Robb Stark and Tyrion are my favorite characters. We'll see how things progress forward from here, but it shows, it's a great story. It's developing really well. I'm excited to continue and watch season 3 and see what happens. But that's my reaction and recap. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Coffee and Comments. We are out.